Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for the podcaster who says, sorry, I was thinking, did I say the beginning right? And then I was also thinking, people say they're hot. I've heard the term hot under the collar before, but I don't know if I've heard the term warm under the collar. I think hot under the collar means you're in a bad mood. But what if there was, here's the thing, maybe that's what the world needs now. Not just love, sweet love, but a greater shading of things that you say, well, I'm getting slightly warm under the collar. So I'd appreciate if you fold that laundry and put it away. Like that's just, that's actually they say. And you say, well, I get, when I'm warm under the collar, well, if I'm technically, may unbutton a button, I may take my shirt off or change my shirt or change it. But most of the time I say, you know what, I'm feeling a little warm under the collar. Before I get hot under the collar, you may be saying to yourself, speaking of getting hot under the collar, where, for the love of collars, whether they're turned up or down, if a collar frowns, does it, here's another question that has nothing to do with it. If a collar's up or down, does it have feelings about the direction? Probably not, because you see, I thought is this a sleep podcast? It is meant to keep you company. So you're not alone in the deep, dark night, to take your mind off stuff so you could fall asleep. You're the most important part of the show. But this podcast is very different. Not for everybody. Give it a few tries. See how it goes. The structure of the show is I'm going to do some support for the podcast. Then there'll be an intro to help you ease you into bedtime. And there'll be an episodically modular bedtime story you could listen to in any order. And it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these sponsors are what enable us to be here for you free twice a week. All right, everybody, Scoots here, Lulling with Lasso. Lulling and learning with Lasso. We'll read through my notes first, and then we'll watch the episode. Season 1, Episode 7. Black screen, but we hear Nate saying, no, no, no. Very clean under bus, pause. So I think that means it wants me to pause on Ted's screen. But then I figured it out as Bryant's barbecue. FaceTime with son, John and George, lax propulsion, luxury popular. FaceTime with son, John and George, lounge population, Everton, British flams for Rebecca. Interesting. Hoo-hoo girls trip, Keely totally messes with Rebecca. Higgins is off the jet. Can you imagine? Keely says that, can you imagine? Keely says, yeah. Higgins' son Keely on the jet, not Han Solo on the jet. Keely's on the jet. Higgins is off. Sunglasses off. You're not even on the bus, Higgins. You're staying here doing work that doesn't matter. Lasso happy, team not, except Danny. Bored. Confront conflicts, Ted or Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh, Beard comforts Ted on Beyonce, Jay-Z, which didn't happen. But Ted says, why the glum faces? Did Jay-Z and Beyonce split up? We've never won in Everton in 60 years. O'Brien tore his behind. Will here. Bar to change, hamstring to behind. Oh, Beard changes on the board. He changes hamstring to behind. No goals, relegation, definition, departure of Jamie, Scotch eggs. Oh, let's look up Scotch egg right now. while we're live learning from Lasso, Scotch egg, SCOTCH. Egg is a food. I think you can get this in one of the theme parks. It's a boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and baked or deep fried. I probably had it. It comes from 1809, goes back to in the dictionary, but may have been 1805. As a cold item, Fortnum and Mason claims to have invented it in 1738, but based on archival material, they may have popularized it. It is generally believed that they were encountered in the Raj, maybe called kofta, which is meatball, Narcissus meatballs. Other claims include the name coming from a nickname, culinary delights of Yorkshire. They originally originated in Whitby. They were supposedly named after William J. Scott and Sons, a well-known eatery that sold the item. However, that does not fit with the known use of the term. So we have a mystery. And maybe they were called scorch eggs as they were cooked over an open flame. Though surviving recipes say they were deep fried in lard. Scotching as a culinary process. So it's cool. We got ourselves a mystery. The mystery of the Scotch egg that fits. Actually, Ted Lasso and the mystery of the Scotch egg. Or the Diamond Dogs and the mystery of the Scotched egg. Diamond Dogs Mysteries. The case of the Scotch egg. The case of the Scotched egg. Yeah, there you go. The case of the Scotched egg. Another Diamond Dogs mystery. Mystery solved if you watch the next episode after this one. Or at least talked about in an adult way. And not adult way, and for a solution that works for the person asking it. Lost or confused. Last one's a Scotched egg that confuses the reporters. Also, I noticed it really got a lot out of this scene. I mean, I'll talk about it now versus when we watch it. So. Again, if you're talking about learning from Lasso, again, realize it's a fictional character, but we got some big episodes. The next one is a huge one as far as like learning behavior. But I think this one really shows to me as someone who is strange, but I'm not able to lean into my strangeness with wild abandon like Ted does, or just be myself, like I have a governor on me or whatever, I said, whoa, don't make jokes that are like totally confusing and may flop for the love of joking and expressing yourself with whimsy and just putting it out there, and then they'll figure it out and they'll get something out of it either way, or just be yourself. Those may be rules that I'm trying to project onto Ted, but that's what he does. He says he makes a joke, it's actually a regional joke mixed with like an American idiom. I don't know. Making an idiom out of me and me, making an idiom out of I do. Make an idiom out of I and me. If there was an E, I do of me. Make an idiot, but so he just says it, and the reporters I've seen that look that the reporters share, and unlike Ted, who just gets on the bus, he just, says, last one, there's a Scotch egg, and they look at each other and they say, what is he talking about? But they say it in a way that I would say is bemused or slightly amused, or at least you could say neutral. There's no malice there. But I project, if it was me, I would project onto those two reporters, and their confusion would make me feel not comfortable. So that's one thing I can learn from Ted. Just put it out there, man. It doesn't matter. And by him being, the real reality is he's being vulnerable, or he is comfortable enough to be himself, which is in itself a form of like organic vulnerability or something. Again, yes, I know, Brain. He's a fictional character and not real, but the fact remains that we're making a sleep podcast about this. So I really liked that scene. It was just, I really thought like those two actors that were just had that one scene. They brought a lot to the scene as well as Ted did. Oh, my brain said Ted's not. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's move on because are you uncomfortable, Brain, with me talking about Ted's vulnerability? Or it's not a zero-sum game. Ted can be confidently vulnerable, and it doesn't mean we're any less than Ted. Yeah, Ted can be a confidently vulnerable imaginary character. Yes. Okay, so something reporters, nice bus, I put. It really is a nice bus. Then they grab Nate. Oh, Ted doesn't forget anybody. At the hotel, Keely and Rebecca have the presidential suite. No tip, cash tip, and an image in his mind. Anniversary weekend. Big hug. Oh, long hug. I think this is Rebecca and Keely. Rebecca and Keely have long hugs, and then Rebecca's friend shows up. But we'll get to all that. Nate hands out keys. He also talks about the furniture rule, movie night, 5150, 5148. Ted talks about Sammy. Like, I love how he sets it up and then over explains it. Sleep with me, but also, like by saying something and then addressing it and Beard having the look, they cover everything. Cause he says, my favorite, lead singer of Van Halen, Sammy Hagar. And then he looks to Beard to see, and he says, of the Sammy Hagar, not named David Lee Roth or whatever, of the Sammy Hagar era. Or maybe he said best album. Is Duff. What is that? Oh, is DLR. Rebecca on phone with concierge. Steakhouse. She hears Keely talking, but we realize that Keely's on the resort hotel TV channel. She's the host. Past is the past. Aloe, Stinky. Oh, this is where she shows up. Old gray walnuts. Flo, meet Keely. 6 years. Sassy. Keely hugs Sassy. The team is watching Iron Giant. Let's look that up. No phones. Isaac kind of gives somebody a look. It's been a while. I don't think I've seen Iron Giant in this era of clear-mindedness for me. Maybe I have, but I don't think I have. It's a Brad Bird film, but it's from Warner Bros. It was Brad Bird's directorial debut based on a 1968 novel, The Iron Man, but it was published in the U.S. as The Iron Giant. Scripted by Tim Conley's story treatment by Bird. Wow, Jennifer Aniston, Harry Connick Jr., Vin Diesel, James Gammon, Cloris Leachman, John Mahoney, John Mahoney, and many more. Centers on a boy in 1957 who befriends a giant robot. So maybe I could rewatch that with clear head. This is interesting, though. I jumped to the film's development began in 1994 as a musical with involvement of Pete Townsend from The Who. Though the project took root once Bird signed on as director, and they started working on the screenplay in 1996. It was animated using traditional animated with computer-generated imagery to animate the Iron Giant and other effects. Understaffed crew of the film completed in half the time and the budget of other animated features. and came out in 1999, underperformed 31 million against a production budget of 50, but that was because it wasn't really well marketed. And there was another, they had pulled back after another hadn't worked out. It was not nominated for 9 Annie Awards, and it did gather quite a following, obviously, as seen in this film. Episode of Ted Lasso. Okay, Ted, Beard, Nate, your opinion, no, excuse me. At least he did not shame 74 months, grown men crying. Okay, we'll figure out what that means later. Divin Fun, Dirt Shade, Still on Fire, Dinner Fun. I don't know what Dirt Shade is. Still on Fire. Ted at front desk, the comedy of the calls at the front desk. He says, did you try flushing it again, but harder? Then they make fax machine jokes. Ted meets Sassy Smurf. I'll let you know. Then he's on the phone again. He says, I'll let you know how the trial goes. The front desk person. Rough go for front desk guy, or no go. I think it says rough. It doesn't work out for him because he says, well, hello, Sassy Smurf. Back to the table. Sassy goes back to the dinner table. I just met the Marlboro man. How did Rebecca get the name Stinky? It was in year 7 of school, Rebecca's first day. Then Rebecca leaves, and Keely says, I love you and Rebecca. And she goes, that's not Rebecca. Rebecca is silly and strong like this woman, but she's not cold. And Rebecca's a good singer. And then we go to Ted's room, hotel room. He's at least 2 drinks deep. Lots of bangs. Oh, yeah, his hair's down in his bangs. I'm surprised that's accurate. Lots of bangs, place buzz, phone buzzes. Good news. You don't need to fax it. You can take a picture. Joe Arthur barbecue. That's Ted's shirt or hat. Note under the door. And Ted is grouchy. It's Nate. He pushes under, pulls it back, pushes under, and then he yells at Nate's past curfew. Turns on Keely's Resort TV. Ted passes out. Then we're at Gooderson Park in Higgins' house getting snacks. Ted asks to speak with Nate. He properly apologizes and says, Nate, I love your thoughts. You should do the talk before the game. Nate says, are you drunk? And Ted says, no, you're going to read this to the team. And Nate, the great. Also, I noticed blue, red, and yellow magnets on the planning board for the game. Cheers for Nate as he starts. But then he just does very direct feedback from other coaches in front. Unmounts Isaac. Oh, you got this. Oh, no, Isaac tries to help him. Looking tough is different than being tough, Isaac. Sam second guesses himself. Colin, you try to overstep like you're a Brazilian player. Just makes me laugh. Danny says, roast me, amigo. And he says, he goes, you love, you say football's life, but you don't play defense. He says, tough but fair. Ted whispers something, but I don't know what it was, to Nathan. I think to Nathan. Then Roy stands, pulls the paper. He says, say it to my face. And this is a really caring moment. It like really turned fast and well and against expectations and into depth. It turned not just into comedy, but to deep, deep comedy or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But he says, she say to me, well, you're old and you're slow, your focus drifts, but anger's always been your superpower. You felt like in the past you were angry at the grass, and it's still in there, that anger, Roy. So don't keep it to yourself. And again, how he dials down his speaking, because it says, because I'm afraid what it'll do to you. And then Roy contemplates that in a physical way, and he says, let's go get them. Nate's stunned. Beard smiles, not just once, but twice. And Nathan smiles. Then we hear the over thing. Richmond 1-0. Roy scored a goal. They go into the locker room. They cheer. Roy hops on the thing. We're going out on the town. Keely, what are we doing? I think that Roy and Keely also shared a look. We're going to rub it in the city's face. Where Keely karaoke. Then we go to Sam, who's singing Wonderwall. Wonderwall, right? That was the song Sam was singing. Really well, and a good song for Sam. Then Rebecca Sassy D, Rebecca Cam apologizes. Rebecca shrugs. Beard, he's singing Bad Romance, I think. He's a wild man, and then he goes quiet. So I feel like the Beard would be more like one of my roommates, but a lot of times I can act like that where I'm over the top and then I immediately go into my subdued mode. And he says, who's next? And it's Rebecca. To the best friend I had and her daughter, Nora. She sings Let It Go. Beautiful singing. Everyone is full attention. But we rest on Ted's hands who are clasped. Roy is next to Keely. Then Ted's fingers are, you can tell something's going on. He leaves. He has to go out of the back room and through a club. Then Ted sits down. He's kind of having a moment. Ted, Dad, Ted. It's Rebecca. She says, try to breathe, stay calm. Ted's, he's like, and she goes, it's going to be okay. She even touches his face. Come on, here we go. They have a graffiti wall graffiti, as Jamie would say, graffiti, behind them. Graffiti. I don't know. No, not graffiti. Graffiti. I should have just stuck with whatever I said. Ted walks back to the hotel. Focus, Ted. Rebecca. Oh, I love how the focus went from Ted to Rebecca. Ted to Rebecca. So, again, they're really using the camera to kind of show some of these changes. Show, don't tell, baby. That's what they're doing. They're really subtext through the imagery. I love it. So yeah, again, they play with the focus so you can see Rebecca's thinking about reacting and how Ted's feeling. Ted gets back to the hotel, sits down. At some point, I think when he's crouching with Nate, he knocked over his army person from his son. He sets it back up, signs the paper, takes a picture. Ted's face. Then post-bar or karaoke. Sassy still wants to keep at it. Keely and Rebecca are going home, but Keely's going to walk home with Roy. Again, we see another Rebecca reaction, which again, you could kind of take however you want it. But it is showing us something. Then Ted and Keely, Roy and Keely are in the hall. Roy moves in for a big kiss, and then nods and says, good night, Keely. I love it. She stares after him, checks her breath. Rebecca's at the bar, waiting. She's got a little date planned. She gets a text from Ted. Ted's in bed. There's a knock on his door. It's Sassy. She walks in. And that's the end of the episode. But yeah, let's roll it up here. Let me get everything under control. Okay, according to the subtitles there, let's see. Let me bounce back. Nate says no about 10 times. Let me see if I can count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Trevor, no. Nate wants to do some spatial relations. Otherwise, things would move about, but people are putting bags in behind him. Trevor really shouldn't be working there. Team in Liverpool, Everton is Bryant's Barbecue. Okay, we got to roll, big guy. Mom wants to talk to you and talk about the Beatles. His ex-wife says, hey, can you get I know it's tough, but can you get the paperwork done? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll sign it and send it over. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be watching. All right. Ted closes it. Then we see Rebecca's got a happy anniversary, like spam email, 20% off flowers or something from Blooming Brilliant Flowers. She looks off. Keely says, woohoo, girls trip at Liverpool. Up front and flattered. You asked me. We're both single. It's going to be cool. And she goes, this is platonic or not, or plutonic? No, I'm messing with you. Thought you were serious. I mean, can you imagine? And Keely says, oh, yeah. And Higgins is in a good mood because he likes flying in the jet, anybody that flew in a private jet, I'm sure. But she totally says, you're staying home. Okay, who's ready to show Everton? We're in the locker room. Danny is, woohoo. Why is everybody so down in the dumps? Says the Beyonce, no, nothing like that. Thank goodness. Beard gets the chills. What's going on? We're fine. Really? Oh, yeah, fine. Well, we never win at Everton, and it's not fun. When was the last time you won? 60 years ago. Whoa, boy. Okay. We're bummed out. O'Brien's behind us, 4 weeks behind training. And Soro is going to fill in from Montreal. Soro. Ted says Zorro, as that probably would happen if I was saying it like as a presentation or something. He says, all right, let's go. Reporters grab Ted. With Jamie being gone, you haven't even scored any goals. Worried about relegation. 2 games left. What about the definition? They don't know. It's too bad about Jamie leaving. Get a connection to your players. And, that connection is more important than the game, which the reporter Marks takes to heart. Last one's a Scotch egg. They do share a bemused look. I would not say it's amused, but I may not know the definition of bemused either. Nate hops out. Nate's always in a tracksuit. I wonder how many different tracksuits the character owns. Then we're at the hotel checking in. No, Rebecca and I are going to hang. That's your tip. Thinking about that. It's more than a cash tip. Rebecca says, listen, I'm a little stressed. This is my anniversary weekend from my previous marriage and spending alone. Keely gives her a long, long hug. And Rebecca even says, oh, that's a long hug. Reminds me of a long hug I had not that long ago. I said, that's a long hug. Don't ship the furniture. Don't, move it. Don't take it. Don't send it home. Don't send it to other hotels, Isaac. Movie night or pillow fight. Movie night, 5150. Post DLR era. That's what he says. All right, howdy, neighbor. Rebecca calls. Where's our champagne? And Shipley's Steakhouse. Business center's open 24 hours a day. What? And that's where Kaylee's just watching herself on the TV. And she's got crimped hair. So I don't know how old the thing is supposed to be, but obviously, no matter what, it'd be like, okay, now the whole team's going to be making fun of me. But this weekend is moving forward, Rebecca reminds her. Then there's a knock at the door. It's Sassy. Hello, Stinky. Look at this room. And old gray walnuts. Who's he? She Russian? No. I love you. Flo Collins, my best mate since we're little. She's also single. She's got a 12-year-old daughter named Nora. And I haven't been in touch with her in 6 years. And Sassy tries to shake Keely's hand, but Keely gives her a huge hug after she says, I took a champagne from the hall. So Keely loves hugging. I'm Keely, by the way. Then we see some scenes from the Iron Giant, team watching. Isaac saying no phone use during the thing. Pete's coaches talking strategy. If you were me, Nate, what would you tell him? No, I want your opinion. You got an opinion? Yeah. No, I can't tell it to you. What are you afraid is going to happen? That you won't like my idea and I'll have to move back in with my parents. I say, Nate thinks like me. And then Ted says, okay, I got to look this stuff. I got to deal with some stuff. I'll see you in the morning. Keep an eye on these guys. 74 minutes in this movie, they're going to be weeping. And Beard says, me too. And they talk about Elton John at Rebecca's wedding. And they're laughing, having fun, flirting with the waiter. Sassy's very forward. Even Keely, blushes almost. Sassy's like, Rebecca, you don't smoke? I got to go get a smoke. She heads off. That's when she passes Ted. Flush it again, but harder. How can I help you? Fax machine. Everybody finds that amusing. I think in the U.S., though, some hotels still have fax machines. What is it, 1997? Ted says, yeah, I'm going to travel back in time. And they have, Ted Sassy, like Sassy Smurf. I don't think there was a Sassy Smurf. Too bad. I would have liked that. And then it was a call with another concierge, I guess. It was the concierge, the front desk, where they're talking about, I'll let you know how the trial goes. Sassy says, geez, a Magnum PI there. I thought I'd flirt with him and see what happens, but, oh well. And she heads off. We see everybody watching the Iron Giant with tears. Sassy reports back to Keely about the Marlboro Man, tells her about how she could, was jealous of Rebecca, so she called her stinky. And to the ties that bind us to Rebecca, that's not Rebecca. My Rebecca is not that cold, so that's Rupert's, saying, and you're going to love Rebecca when she finally comes out. What about the bill? Oh, Rebecca had gotten it. Do you want to pretend to pay? Oh, yeah, I used to always do this. Oh, Rebecca, I can't believe you paid. I was just going to pay. Then Ted's room. Okay, the armory person is standing up, the figure right now. Ted goes to pick up the pen. The pen is on his left. Looks himself in the mirror, bangs down. His hair's much curlier than me, though. Gets the phone. You could just take a photo and email it to me. Ted sits back, hand on his head. That's when the note tries to go under, and out. Nate, what are you doing? Sorry. Just my thoughts on the team. Go, it's past curfew. Get out of here. Oh, it's when Ted throws the note that he knocks over the figure. Then he gets in bed, turns on the TV, lays back, starts watching the hotel channel, karaoke, pubs and clubs. Ted falls asleep very fast. Gooderson Park, Arlo White, Chris Powell, Higgins family with 2 bowls of snacks. Somebody has OJ for the game. Richmond in 18th place, now or never. It was the last time Elvis is #1 that they won. Ted has to speak with Nathan. Sorry, I had to apologize. I tore your head, raised my voice. Okay, thanks. Also, I read your thoughts. They're great. I agree with them, but I can't say this to the team. They need to hear it, yeah, from you. And Nathan says, I don't know. And Ted says, don't worry about it. It'll be fun. And Ted says, I feel like you've heard enough from me, so I'm going to hand it over to my buddy Nate the Great here. And Nate takes a breath. Everybody crosses their arms. Go ahead, Nate. You got this. And he says, okay, Isaac. Isaac says, go ahead, man. You can do this. And that's when Nate, he looks at Ted. Ted nods. Beard looks at Ted. And he says, Nate, you act tough. You're more concerned with that than being tough. Sometimes you can do that without being physical. I hope you don't mind me saying, Sam. Sam says, oh, he says, you can be indecisive. You second guess. And then Nathan starts to pick up steam. Colin, with your stepovers, he goes, quit trying to play like somebody you're not. Now he's like a comedian. Rojas, roast me, amigo. You got to play some defense. Can't even cover whoever you're supposed to be marking. He said the name of the show to Beard. I think that's what Ted whispers to Beard. Is that when I said, let me see, Ted whispers, yeah, and then Beard shushes him. Tough but fair. Right, Roy. Roy stands, walks up to Nate. Nate gulps, towers over him. Go ahead, say what you're going to say. Just say it to my face, not with the paper. Just say it. That's when he says it. Great Roy Kent. Getting older. Your slow, focused drifts. Speed in your smarts weren't made you what you are. It was your anger superpower. Best midfielders in the history of the league. But we haven't seen it. Like you used to kick the ball hard and be mad at the grass. It's still in there. He touches Roy's chest. I'm afraid of what it'll do to you if you keep it all to yourself. And now he has everybody in the room's attention. And it worked because Roy, he moves the bench, relocates it, and he says, let's go get them. And Ted almost smiles there. Then he just raises his eyebrows while Beard smiles. And he says, oh, wait, no, he does whisper something to Nate. Let me see. Sorry. And Beard picks up the paper and gives it back to him. Told you it'd be fun. But the thing I was wondering was actually, he said, oh, the name of the show, Sex in the City. To Beard says, shush. And then the impossibles happen. Richmond have won 1-0. Rare goal from Roy Kent. Brilliant today, like a man possessed. And everybody's cheering Richmond. Rebecca, Sassy, and Keely come in. Keely starts hugging everybody. Congratulations. I want you to introduce my friend. Oh, Sassy Smurf. Oh, Marlboro Man. Nice to meet you. Keely says, hey, I didn't know you're here. Surprise. I thought about you a lot this weekend because you're on the TV with crimped hair. And then Roy says, all right, listen up. We're going out on the town. Keely, what is there to do in town? Where are we going? I don't know. Let me help her up here. Well, Liverpool has a lot to offer. Pubs to clubs, karaoke. I said maybe. Sam sings. Sorry. You're going to be the one that saves me. Because after all, you are Sam's Wonderwall. Some of the guys have their shirts off and they're singing along. Sassy heads out for a smoke. Rebecca says, I'm going to join you. Ted's clapping along. Sassy says, what's up with the Marlboro Man? I kind of like him. And Rebecca says, geez, I'm sorry I haven't kept in touch. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're here. And I'm really sorry. Kind of just disappeared from your life. And she says, thanks for saying that. They give each other a hug. And she goes, okay, well, now it's time to get outside of this Rupert stuff. You made your choices. Now you can make new choices. I'll always be your biggest defender, but, you're owning up to the part you played. Okay, you're right. And then Keely says, where'd you guys go? I was worried you left without me. Come on, Rebecca, your song's up. I didn't put a song in. Well, maybe somebody did for you. Who could have done that, says Sassy. And, yeah, Beard is really singing it. He's got a styling shirt on, too. Really like his shirt. And also looks like it's like a material that's like perfect for karaoke because it is wicking and breathable, but not cotton like where it would absorb sweat. And Rebecca gets up to sing. Sassy's like streaming it to Nora because she says this goes out to Nora, or she's recording it for Nora. Snow glows white on the mountain tonight. Not a footprint to be seen. Kingdom of isolation. Looks like I'm the queen. She points. Wind's howling, swarming storm inside. Heaven knows that I've tried. Let it go. You don't have to let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel. Don't let them know. Roy is actually kind of singing along. Colin and Isaac are rocking back and forth. Sam is cheering her on. Ted's moving his fingers. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away and slam the door. So it's interesting, even that kind of subtext. Ted has to leave. Cold never bothered me anyway. He heads out, has to go through a club where... Yeah, oh boy, he was going to, there's stuff going on in the club. He sits down outside and Ted, it's Rebecca. Ted, are you okay? It's okay. It's okay, Ted. Just try to breathe. I don't know. And she says, yeah, you just got to breathe. Just breathe. And she says, don't worry, Ted. You're all right. She touches his face. There we go. Come on. Gonna be okay. Come on. And Ted starts to breathe. There you go. And Ted says, I got to call it a night. I'm going to go back to the hotel and get some sleep, You want me to walk you back? No. Do you want to take my car? No, I'm okay. And she says, all right. Ted says, just let Beard know I went back. And she goes, okay, you get home. Okay, thanks. Good night. Ted walks off. Rebecca watches him. Ted's bent over. We see Rebecca's face there. Ted's in his room. Sits down. Probably took a shower. He looks fresh. His hair, he doesn't have bangs anymore. His hair's, combed. Again, we see that is his left hand. That's cool. Got something in common with Ted Lasso, I think. Yeah, we're both left-handed. Takes a picture of it and shakes his head a little. Breathes. His eyes are sad. His eyes are red. Puts his phone back down, looks at himself in the mirror. Camera looks at him. Ted kind of tries to smile, but he can't almost. I never noticed that on the first few watches. Then we should take Sassy wants to keep going with the guys. Danny only has his jacket on, no shirt. I can't find my shirt. There's like also comments going on in the background. Keely's going to walk back with Roy. Rebecca says, okay, cool. That's cool. I'll be fine. Really? Yeah. My anniversary was yesterday, Rebecca says, so I'm not worried about it anymore. And Keely and Roy step off together. Rebecca smiles, frowns, smiles. Keely gets to her room. This is me. Yeah, I'm sharing a suite with Rebecca. And Roy just goes in for a kiss. 1, 2, 3, embrace. 4, 5, 6. Kind of six move kiss or something. He says, good night. All right, good night. And then walks off. She's like, what the heck? Checks her breath. So Rebecca's having a drink in her purse. Ted sends her a thank you message. And it's almost, so it's not the next day when she gets the message. Still Saturday. And can I see a couple of interesting shots, then a shot at Ted in bed. Ted's watching something, actually. He smiles, gets out of bed. Sassy just like has her head turned, walks right into the room, right past Ted, and the episode comes to a close. So another great episode of Learning from Lasso. Good night, everybody. All right, I just want to thank everybody that reviewed the podcast recently. I think this is another new review from the same person, Ben. One day I tried Sleep With Me, and now I listen a lot. I have lots of sleep podcasts, so this one's backing me up. Then a person says, hey, love this podcast. Love this. This is Danica says, I love that this podcast is involved with treating people with dignity and respect. The fact that the podcast cares about its listeners is important to me, and that thinks every person should be treated with dignity and respect. And that comes up during the intro. MX says, great background noise, even a half sound. This helps a bunch. Even on days I can't sleep, it's nice to have it to listen to. Makes those nights I can't sleep less frequent and not as unpleasant. Then this one, Gizmo says, 1 star. I don't know if they're putting something in code here, but pop something. Jeannie Bobini, Banana Fanafofini says, so good. Tried this podcast a few times. It didn't really catch me, but I decided recently, such a common thing, but recently decided to give it another go, and I'm glad I did. Scoots is a kind, empathetic character. I look forward to going to bed knowing I can drift off to sleep easily and sleep through the night. Also like Spice Friend Saga and Lady Witchbeard. Abby's asked us, you can skip the intro, you know. Love this podcast. Been a real lifesaver. Dealt with grief, depression, nausea, anxiety. Can do 1 or 2 jobs. Send me to sleep or soothes me enough that it feels like at least I had a rest on those difficult nights. I find the overly critical reviews extremely disappointing because you could just skip the intro. Define says this podcast used to be good. And used to be dependable, wandering stories. And I don't know, we haven't changed anything in like 4 or 5 years of but they don't like a lot of the stuff on this show. But yeah, I mean, we have over 400 episodes in the archives. That's the beauty of it. So I try to be there have something for everybody. So if you want to listen to older episodes, sure, we keep them free for everybody. And yeah, just doing our best to keep the show going. And this one says, dreamland, like could give you strange dreams, but dreams mean you're sleeping. So that's everything. Thanks everybody for supporting the show. Sleeping Me really is only able to be here because of the people that support the show directly, our sponsors. But because of that, we are able to be here for free twice a week. So it is a beautiful conundrum to be in. And because of the Tuck You In sponsors and the support we've gotten, we went from 200 episodes in the free feed, and now we've got, I think, $4.99 on today that I'm recording this, or 500. So pretty cool. And I couldn't do it without all of you. I appreciate it. We grow as a podcast by people spreading the word. So if you let somebody know about the podcast, that's a huge thing too. And I appreciate it so much. And that's it. Good night, everybody. Here's the Tuck You In sponsor.